Have you heard that they're going to take James Dean and they're going to CGI him and put him into a Vietnam movie called like
I
Finding Jack?
I heard kind of a little bit about that, and that somebody was not happy about it. So one of
No,
the
the family's not happy. James Dean's family's not happy about it. But to
yeah.
me, it drives up a very interesting conversation to have about
Mhm.
like, in terms of, is this, should this be happening? Should this not be happening?
Well, I think it comes down to kind of those old school Hollywood contracts where people were signing away their likeness to a studio, and I find it like disrespectful unless you're using it to portray that actor in something like in Forrest Gump where they were like digitally putting the face of like an actor or a former president or something like that onto another actor and kind of superimposing it on there. Um,
Oh, I see. Just I remember what
to
you're saying. Yeah.
doing that to I would say honor the performance of the person at the time if it's an actor. I can see that, but trying to do it in like a whole new role, like like James Dean is playing an absolutely different character that he's never played before. It's not himself. They're just going to CGI it in. I don't know.
It,
At the same time, if this was an animated film and they were to do an animation of James Dean and like having a an actor come in and do his voice, I would be okay with that. So I don't know. Maybe the fact that it's live action, I'm
it brings up an interesting point. We were just talking about Star Wars, Rogue One, where uh, they brought back two characters, didn't they? They brought back, uh, gosh,
they had Princess Leia,
thank you, and the other guy, Tarkin or Grand
Tarkin,
Moff.
yeah, and well, Grand Moff Tarkin was an actual actor who just looked a whole lot like Peter Cushing,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, because I saw some screenshots, some still photography of that
So
guy.
they
And you're like,
superimposed it. They did a deep fake.
no, they didn't. That was an actual actor who just threw makeup and there was no digital mask on him at all.
You
Now for
sure about
Princess
that?
Leia,
You sure
I
about
thought
that?
so. I thought so.
I thought they
But
they they did that because when I was reading the article about this James Dean thing, they referred to that part exactly like that was
oh,
okay.
really?
Like they were saying like that's okay to put them into a story that kind of had them established, and they were just reconnecting a story
Yeah.
or a character that they've already done. But
Mhm.
with this James Dean going into Vietnam and like it's not connecting to
Yeah.
another James Dean story.
Like
It's
if they were to do Rebel Without a Cause, like some kind of remake of that, or like an offshoot of that, and they were to bring in his character from Rebel Without that was James Dean, right? Rebel Without a Cause.
yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're
Um,
right for sure.
if they were to do that, and I go, oh, that's him playing the same character. Obviously, they couldn't get him to do that, so they brought this in and kind of did, kind of like you said, a deep fake kind of thing with it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm okay with that. But taking an actor who has passed and saying we're going to use his likeness as like a main character of a movie that's not like a fully animated movie, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know either. I think I certainly understand where the family's not happy and where some people aren't happy. And
Mhm.
but then again, like you see, remember, there was a commercial out there. I think where it was Fred Astaire was dancing with a Dirt Devil vacuum,
Yeah,
and I didn't get upset about that one at all. But this one, I'm not even upset. But this one, it made me go, hmm. Like, so
it,
where's this going to go? Is it going to be like
yeah.
James Dean's going to take on Charles Bronson, like in future movies? Like, how's that?
God,
Or
I really hope not. I mean, I hope
yeah,
we're not just getting to a point where we're going to resurrect actors or de-age people or even just like superimpose their face for an entire film. Because honestly, I don't think the technology is there yet. Because you can tell, like there are just spots where you can
oh
tell,
yeah. But
and
I
I,
don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know if this is. I think this is the future. In fact, deep faking has Have you seen that technology?
Yeah, yeah.
That's scary.
I mean, I've read a lot about it. And it like grew out. I mean, it grew out of the adult industry of people first doing pictures, like still photography. Excuse me, and then um, rolling that into video. And I
Or
and that
superimposing that onto a porn
right
star, right?
now that I totally think is wrong. Like,
Right. So
make no
you're
qualms
saying,
about that.
so for people that don't know what he's talking about, you're saying they took like Jennifer Lopez's face
Right.
and they put it on what they think would look like
Yeah.
Jennifer
Uh,
Lopez's body on an already porn actress. They put her face on there. And for those of you that have Jennifer Lopez fantasies, there you
yeah.
go.
And it's supposed to. I mean, and that's what it is. They're trying to capitalize on that aspect of it, and I go,
Now,
that's wrong. Like, you
now
shouldn't
should
do.
Jennifer Lopez make money off that?
Yeah, because it's her face, and
Yeah, I would agree.
if she's not, if she hasn't given consent, it's totally wrong. Um, and I can't imagine that she would. But
Yeah.
if she's not entered into a contract with the media company that's producing that, then yeah, that's theft. That's part of her intellectual property is her face, her likeness. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because we were just talking about in a Topic Thunder. We were just talking about college athletes getting paid for their likeness. You know,
Yeah,
so that's yeah. That's a real slippery, sticky slope. If you
yeah.
want to go that route. Um, but yeah, I thought that whole James Dean thing. I thought that was really interesting, and I think that
Mhm.
if it doesn't get a lot of backlash, it's just going to open up the doors to everything. Like,
Yeah, and I guess I'm not. I don't want to see it. I don't. I mean, if I wanted to watch a Burt Reynolds film, I'd go watch a Burt Reynolds film. I don't want Burt Reynolds CGI'd into a film that's new. I mean, no matter how you sell it, I'm going to go, no, I get someone that looks like him or another actor that can portray that and do it justice
yeah,
and have that happen. But I will say, it's got to be, you've got to do it justice. Did you see Quentin Tarantino's latest film?
no,
Once
I
Upon a
want
Time in
to. I
Hollywood.
want to.
Okay, so there's a
Did you? Did
huge.
you?
No, I didn't. Um,
This is the Bruce Lee
he's,
thing?
yes, it's the Bruce Lee thing because Quentin Tarantino is not somebody I'm going to bet a movie theater ticket on. I'm just not. Um,
You don't like his stuff?
it's so hit and miss for me.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I like most of the film, but not all of it. So I don't even take the chance on the cost of a movie ticket anymore. I'll go see something else, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to like, and I will enjoy his stuff from my couch. So I will eventually see it. But what really turned me off is when I was reading some of the reviews of the film and how he treated Bruce Lee. And in the film, there's an actor that's portraying Bruce Lee as
Mhm.
kind of this cocky, arrogant, looking for a fight kind of guy. And if you were a fan of Bruce Lee at all, you know that is totally not what he was like. And so his family got upset. A lot of his countrymen got upset to the point
Right.
where I think the whole film was banned from Hong Kong or mainland China or something like that. They
Really? I
just
didn't
like,
know that.
yeah, yeah. They said no, we're not going to release it here.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is Brad Pitt's a stuntman, and he gets in a fight with Bruce Lee, and he kicks his ass. But then I read this, the family's not even mad that he like got beat up by Brad Pitt. What they're mad at is like what you said is how he was
Yeah,
portrayed as like a big jerk that had it coming.
absolutely, right.
Yeah.
Now,
So
I mean, there's stories about Bruce Lee that you did not piss him off on set, but at the same time, he was not hitting people because he wanted to or because he just wasn't looking for a fight. He was a very peaceful guy, but
are you
I
sure
don't.
about that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure. I've read some of the not autobiographies, but some of the biographies about him. Stuff that was written back in like the 70s and 80s by people that worked with him.
Okay.
And even like I remember Jackie Chan's one of his autobiographies was like he's like, I met Bruce a couple times. I worked with him when Jackie Chan was a young man, and on a couple Bruce Lee films, he's part of the stunt team. He's like, you did not meet a sweeter individual. At the same time, if you didn't know the moves, if you didn't have the choreography down, or if you weren't doing your job, Bruce had no time for you.
Well, I mean that's actually it's actually a trait for people that are I'm a big Tom Brady fan, and I know that if you're not in the right place where you're supposed to be, he will ghost you. Like, he won't even look your direction, he won't throw your direction, and eventually you won't play for him. So I think that's how greatness works. It's like you gotta be on your P's and Q's. Like, I heard Michael Jackson was the same way. Like, he was very very detail oriented, things like that. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, when you bring up the Tom Brady piece, though, I just got to go. But as a sign of a good leader, aren't you gonna? Because I'm not a Tom Brady fan. I know you are, but
why aren't you? That's interesting. Why aren't you?
Yeah. Well, first off, the scandals. I mean, I'm not a big fan of
what scandal?
Deflategate was huge. Right after that, there was something about videotaping sidelines or something like that.
That wasn't Brady though. That was Belichick. That wasn't Brady.
To me, they're kind of a match set. I mean,
are you? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of either one of them. I have nothing wrong with the Patriots as a team. Like Gronk seems like a decent guy.
Gronk seems like a guy that grew up in Wisconsin.
He does. He really does. And maybe that's part of my, I don't want to say affinity for him, but be like, yeah, I can tolerate him. He seems okay. He doesn't take himself too seriously. But when I see Tom Brady like screaming at a guy on the sidelines, because I've seen it, like, Brady, you made a shitty throw, and you're going to blame your receiver for not cutting back. I mean, I'm just like, come on, man. So I'm sorry. Hey, folks, this is what it's like when Johnny and I get to talk, and it is.
Actually,
we were very close.
I'm actually trying to reserve myself because I'm just ready to jump all over everything you've said.
I know.
But
the name of this podcast was almost Bouncing Red Ball, because we will go all over the place.
That's true. Maybe sometime if this podcast ever gets big enough, I still have that. We'll throw out the first original pilot episode where we just nuts.
What, 3 hours long?
Yeah, it was like 3 hours long. But I'm not gonna touch the Brady thing. Yeah, there's so much I can jump on you about. I'm not going to do that because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I got to calm down.
Well, and just throwing this out there, you have much more sports knowledge than I do. So I think
in some areas, but I think in other areas, I think we're even.
On sports knowledge? Really?
Yeah, I have no idea half of the hockey terms out there. Icing, I have no idea. I have family members who explain to who are hockey heads, who explain to me what icing is. I still don't understand.
Yeah, the best I've heard it. It's like when the guy from one corner of the rink hits the puck down to the other corner of the rink, and his team picks it up, like takes the puck, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's half of what hockey is. I mean, I've been to a couple hockey games. They're just hitting that thing around.
Or I know there's I think I understand offsides in hockey, but there's not a lot I understand, and I feel stupid because everybody seems to understand it but me.
Yeah, I don't really understand it either. I love going to a hockey game. Those are fun.
Yes. Have you ever gone to a Blackhawks game?
Not a Blackhawks game, no.
Okay.
I would like to.
They do something in a Blackhawks game that if it wasn't so goddamn cool, it would be insulting. But during the national anthem, they start screaming cheering. I shouldn't say screaming. They're cheering. And it keeps climbing as the national anthem's going, right? And I remember going there because we got free tickets one time because I don't know how we got them, but we got them. And I just remember it, like, the decibel level just kept going higher and higher. And I thought, oh my God, this is so cool. But it's during the national anthem, and you're so used to, just sitting there and paying homage and paying respect. But the way that they did it, it didn't negative. It
It's
was
not
like,
disrespectful.
yeah,
It's
it was
cheering for your country.
yeah, it was amazing. It was the best. It was the best national anthem I've ever had. So that sounds funny. The best national anthem I've ever had. Anyway,
Talking with my kids, and they're when they're little, they're like, what are the college what's our college team, like, who do we like? And I live in Wisconsin, so I'm like,
the
we
Badgers.
follow the Badgers. That's
Yeah.
doesn't matter, football, basketball, whatever, it's the Badgers. And I'm like,
Right.
okay. And they're like, well, what's for our professional football team? I say the Packers. That's what we do. They say basketball. I say the Bucks. For the most part, I mean, the Bucks have gotten very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a basketball guy, but I'm stuck in the days of like the Bucks were terrible for so long.
Yeah.
It was kind of like our version of the Cubs. I mean, they were just terrible. But then they got good, and so you're like, oh, they're good now. I should buy some merchandise. But they asked me about hockey, and I'm like,
the Admirals, right?
We've got the Admirals, and I don't know what level they are, but it's not
either.
It's not NHL. It's not top of the top professional hockey.
I think it's the American Hockey League or something like that.
That could be. I just don't know. But those are the hockey games I've been to, because you could get in there for a steal, and they'll give you tickets away on a street corner sometimes. So
yeah.
But again,
can we go back to the Packers for a second?
Sure.
I'm going to say this, and this is coming from, I guess, it's like I've told people on other podcasts, if I had to plant my flag, I would be a Bear fan. And I think the Bear fans, we got it ass backwards, man. Like, I've been to more Packer games because of our friend Aaron. He has season tickets, and he's been nice enough half a dozen times to take me to a Packer game. I was at the playoff game. Sorry. I was at the Packer game.
So it's your friend Aaron.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just kidding. Love you, buddy.
But I was at the one where Matt Hasselbeck was on the Seahawks, and he said, we want the ball and we're going to score. And then he threw a pick six. I don't know if anybody remembers that. Anyway, I feel there's something real special about what the Packers have there with that culture, and how that town is, and how they respond to that team, where that's not like that in Chicago. It's not like that with Chicago.
It's not like it anywhere else. I mean,
I think there's one other place that it's like that. I think there's one other place. Kansas City. From what I hear, Kansas City.
Really?
Yeah. Now, they don't have the same, like, the community owns the team.
Right.
Kansas City has an owner, but from what I hear, Kansas City and Packers, it is like a college atmosphere for those games. But they have, like, and quote me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, you can go and watch the Packers practice any day you want. There is a Packer Hall of Fame or museum that is open to the public pretty much 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pretty much, from what I understand.
I don't know about the 24 hours a day, but literally year round. Like, you can go into Lambeau Field year round. You can go to the pro shop. You can go to the restaurants there. Yeah, there's activities. I mean, you take the kids there and you can, like, hang out.
Yeah, you make it a day.
Yeah. And the Hall of Fame, the museum, the trophy room. Although a little secret, the trophies that are there in the trophy room, not the real trophies. They're replicas. They keep the real ones in a basement. But
really interesting.
Yeah, random bit of trivia. I know of people that have actually got to see the real ones.
One of the things I thought was always really special about it is that you can, like, park. Now, hear me out, people that have never been to a Packer game or have never been into Green Bay. There's a bunch of houses. So think of your community. Think of I live in a suburb. Think of your suburb. And smack dab in the middle of that suburb is a National Football League stadium. That's what it is.
Right. And we're not talking about, like, this is like the retail section of town. I mean, it is literally like you can look over the walls of Lambeau and you see, like, 1960s ranch houses. You see a park. I mean, you see a school. I mean, it's right there.
This is what I think is absolutely the coolest thing. You can park on people's lawns. Not only can you park on people's lawns, but you pay $10 for parking. Okay. They will invite you into their home, their private residence, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to wash your hands, if you need to stay warm. They serve you drinks. They treat you like a member of the family.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right?
Hmm.
And I've heard of stories where people move there and they think, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to pay. I'm close enough to the stadium. You're going to pay me $40. The community will go over to that house and go, we don't do that
Yeah.
here,
Right.
and
Right.
force that house who is ever charging $40 to park to the standard where everybody else
Yeah.
is of $10. It's amazing. The Bears have this beautiful facility with our only Super Bowl trophy. And they have this rich history, but no one gets to go in there unless you work for the Bears or you play for the Bears.
Oh, really?
No one's
You
allowed
don't
in there.
get. Oh, wow.
So my question, Greg,
Huh.
why would you shut out your community like that? Why would you shut out your fans like that? Why would you not have, I don't know, a I'm just throwing it off the top of my head. It's probably the worst restaurant in the world, but an Applebee's in that place or a Starbucks where you can have your coffee and you can watch the Bears
Yeah.
practice. Why would you not open? So I'm telling the McCaskies right now. You want people to love the Bears? You want people to love the Bears the way they love the Packers? Where what's the whole like waiting list to get to watch a game or to have season tickets?
Oh, to Packers?
Yeah.
You're a generation away. I mean, it's 70, 80 years the waiting
Okay.
list. I mean, it's
McCaskies.
so long.
If you want that type of loyalty, okay,
Hmm.
open up your doors to your fans. That's all I'm saying. Have a pro shop there where we can go there and we can look at this one and only Super Bowl trophy and we can look at the history and I can take my daughter there one day and say, "Hey, this is what's cool about the Bears." They don't have any of that, Greg. And I don't understand that. I don't get
But
that.
and maybe it has something to do. I mean, Chicago is obviously the second city of the United States. It's a major
Yeah.
metropolis. I mean, and
I think
Chicago,
third. I think
Chicago
it's New
land,
York, LA, Chicago.
right? It was, but historically, Chicago
Oh,
was
yeah, sorry.
second city. That's why they call it second city.
Right.
So Green Bay, which is only we're talking like 2.5 hours away from Chicago. I think if you head straight up,
Yeah.
it's a small town. I mean, it really
Like
is.
Schaumburg.
Yeah, it's if that's your reference. Yeah, it is a small community,
Yeah.
and so even like you see Packer players, and I've been up there a couple times. This has never happened to me, but I know people that live up there. They're like, yeah, you'll be walking around, or you go to the grocery store and you see Packer players, you see
Mhm.
professional athletes, and sometimes if they got friends in town, you'll see guys from other teams. I mean, you see Aaron Rodgers coming in with his other quarterback buddy. So these are people that you know, and as a community, they don't like rush up to them and be like, "Oh my God, can I get my picture?"
Right.
They're like, "What's
Right.
up, Aaron?" And he's like, "Hey
Yeah.
man, how's it going?" I mean,
Yeah.
they just kind of take that as they're just members of the community.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just a real different kind of feel,
It's
and
awesome.
I
It's awesome.
it's
And this is
it's
coming
it
from
is
a
great.
Bear fan. It's awesome. And I wish the Bears had that type of um connection. And I
Yeah.
feel I feel the organization does not want us to have that connection. They just want us to pay. That's all.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah,
turns me off a lot actually.
it's interesting because I grew up. I mean, I'm born and raised in Wisconsin, um, but I grew up about 10 miles away from the Illinois border, south of Madison. So a town called
Where?
Broadhead,
Broadhead?
Wisconsin. Yeah,
Okay, I didn't
and
know.
and you pretty much head straight south from Broadhead, a couple miles, and you're in Illinois. So being that close to the border, there's a lot of like transplants, Illinois transplants that are just
Right.
working, and so we had a lot of Chicago fans around. I mean,
Yeah,
I
of
remember,
course.
I remember in '85, when you guys won your Super Bowl, uh, it was. I mean, there were a lot of Bears fans around,
Right.
and my dad who loves to hate the Bears, and I'm like, but I had a lot of friends that were Bears fans, and we would talk about the pluses and minuses of the team. And I'm like, I don't hate the Bears. I don't want them to win when they play the Packers, but for the most part, I hope that they have a good team. The team that I would have that kind of hatred for would be the Vikings. And I think that's something that Chicago and Green Bay can both agree on, is we can just say, fuck the Vikings.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a problem. I'm people that really know me know that on any given day I can be wearing the hat of any different NFL team. I love the NFL. I'm not really married to any specific team, but yeah, I don't get the Bears could be so much more and they're not, and I'm so disappointed by that. So
what I do like about the Packers is they don't allow kind of that overt dirty football players on their team, like those guys that are just in either you're in trouble all the time, you're playing dirty football, trying to hurt guys out on the field. They just don't stand for that kind of stuff.
yeah, it's interesting.
And I'm not saying that the Bears do, but there are other teams out there where they're like, no, we'll recruit that guy. He's known as a dirty player. Sure, bring him on.
Yeah, I think that's John Gruden right now with the Raiders. The Raiders have that history of, we're going to hit you in the balls at the bottom of the pile type players.
Try to grab a hold of your ankle and try to wrench it around or something like that. And I'm like, that's terrible.
Yeah. All right. So for a couple of segments that we're doing, we kind of went off track. This is what we do, folks. So you're just going to have to buckle up and enjoy the ride here. There's a couple of things we're going to be having as we progress through our podcast. One of them that I'm excited about is a whiskey and beer of the month. How are we going to work that, Greg?
I don't know. We should probably have production meetings on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, probably.
I kind of got into the whiskey game a couple of years ago. So I wasn't, like, my dad wasn't a big whiskey drinker. My dad's not a big drinker at all. But I don't know. I just, as I got older and I was kind of getting out of certain type of liquor and stuff like that, I went, whiskey sounds cool. I mean, you pour a glass, you sip on it, whatever. Yeah. And so I went down, my uncle and I did part of the Bourbon Trail.
Yes, that's something I want to do with you.
Yeah, it was fun.
I think it'd be fun.
You go around, and honestly, it's kind of like a beer tour. Once you see how whiskey's made, you go, okay, I get the idea. But just all these different places and the history behind them, that was really cool. And then you do a lot of tastings. So I kind of learned how to tell the difference between certain whiskeys and whatnot, pick up the hints of different things. So, I just kind of got into it. So we're going to feature a couple. I wouldn't consider myself a whiskey snob at all. I'll try anything. Some of the flavored whiskeys that are out there have kind of caught my eye and touched the palate a little bit. So we'll take a look at them.
I'm a little against that.
And you can't. That's fine. Some people.
No, I know. Yeah, I mean, it's to each his own. I'm not a big fan of the flavored vodkas or the flavored whiskeys. I'm not a fan of it. I get the appeal for people. I'm just not that person. But
I think it really depends on what your purpose is and what you're drinking. Like, what's your occasion that you're drinking for? Yeah. Same thing with beer. I mean, I like some of the flavored beers that are out there, and I know guys that look at me like, "What? I like my beer to taste like beer," and I'm like, "That's fine. You can do that. You're a grown man, and so am I. So if I want a beer with a little bit of a hint of orange in it, I can do that."
Well, that's not bad. It's just I think when you get to like peppermint beer, it's like, what are you doing?
I don't do peppermint anything, but
no, I'm sure you don't.
On a 98-degree Wisconsin day with high humidity. Grapefruit candy is good.
Leinenkugel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great beer. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I want to show you something on Instagram that I think you'll get a kick out of. You ready?
Yes.
All right, let's see if I can actually do this again. All right. Sharing screen. Start sharing. Do you see it, sir?
I do.
All right, here we go. Ba, 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 ba. All right. Right here. Watch this.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen this?
I have.
Look at that. That's a was it 10 point buck?
It was a big one.
I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah, this woman just gets completely taken out.
she goes, I'm sorry. This girl right here, if anybody can you see my cursor there? I'm not sure what you
Yeah,
can see and what
yeah,
you
I
can't.
can.
Okay. This girl, I have no idea how she didn't get ripped apart. Like, this is what look at
Yeah.
this. Look at this. Boom.
It just jumped right over. I mean, at first I had to watch it a few times. I'm like, that woman took a hoof to the head, and she didn't.
Yeah. Pretty impressive actually. All right. So that
I'm
was
looking at the comments on the side. It looked like said it was in Canada, and I'm like, they're really because that looks like a very Wisconsin thing that would happen.
All right. So this is something I found just ridiculous, but I'm amazed at the people that can find their talent. And I mean, this guy's spending a lot of time. Yeah, exactly. Watch this.
Why? Why? Is this a science experiment? Is it? Oh gosh.
Okay. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing here. He doesn't have a girlfriend. I'm just guessing. I'm not judging. I'm just guessing.
Or his marriage is not going well. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was one. That was another one. Now, can you help me with this one? Have you seen this one? All right. Actually,
No,
have you seen this one or
new.
not? Okay. So then
No.
let me know what you think. Okay. Like, actually do this as it's happening.
2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Carrot.
It was Carrot. How did that happen? How did that happen to you? Why'd you say Carrot?
I said carrot because I'm looking at the comments on the side, and it said
Oh,
broccoli, and I'm like, I'm not going to say broccoli because whatever's going on is going to be that. So,
that's pretty interesting. Huh.
carrot was not the first thing that came into my head. Celery was the first thing that came into my head.
Is it celery or celery?
Celery.
I don't know either.
Celery.
All right.
The green one.
Very good. Very good, Greg, because I didn't get that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that was Let's Get Social.
You're just pimping out your Instagram to get more followers.
Not at all, actually. Not even interested in that. All right. Let's see if I can.
Did you hear the news that came out of Instagram recently?
What's that news?
So the likes, I like if someone likes your post, you can see how many likes you have.
Yeah.
The founder of Instagram said he's going to take that away. So like the likes will still be there. You can still give a like to a picture, but you won't be able to see how many likes it got. They're saying that it causes like mental anguish for some people because they're just doing it for the likes. Now, for content creators, you can still like look at the backstage and see how many likes a post got, so you can try to trend what's trending, what's not, what content is hitting better. You can still see that. Yeah. But as far as like the upfront, like how many likes something got, no one's going to see that anymore. I'm not sure when that's going to start, but
what do you think about that?
I think it's interesting that people can get that jacked up over the amount of likes. But if they're so obsessed with fame, if they're so obsessed with like this is what's going to make them or break them, I guess I can see that. But I'm not of the generation where likes are something you have to go for.
Yeah, I remember when Twitter and Facebook and anything that you were to post
Mhm.
of what you were doing, my first thought when I first heard about this was like, why? Why does somebody care where I'm at? Why does somebody?
Mhm.
So I think we're that last generation. Like we're that last generation that it doesn't matter. Or we had a hard time where the generations after us, they're all about it.
Mhm.
And
My kids have come back. They're like, so and so has 500 friends, like, or 500 followers, and I go, so is that what they're shooting for? I mean, and
yeah,
then she shows me the content that this person's putting out. I don't care. I mean, it's because it was like middle school stuff. It's like, this is us on the playground. Okay,
well,
give a
okay,
shit.
all right. Well, you're looking at it like a dad, you know,
Well, but still, I mean, I can
a
identify with.
40-something-year-old dad. You're looking at like that, right? Like I'll give you a great
But
example. I'll give you a great example. Okay, I'll give you a great example. I agree with you, by the way, but Ursula and I have this. I forgot a guilty pleasure that we both like to watch. We like to watch MTV's The Challenge. Okay, you remember the Real World?
sure, yeah.
Okay, the people that were the most dramatic people in the real world, they took them and they put them in a house in Punta Cana and they play
Oh,
these games. They play these games like, and then one person has to get rid of the other and things like, and it becomes this big game about survival and backstabbing and being political and all this drama ensues. And they don't have a television, they don't have their cell phones, but they have plenty of alcohol and that allows these people to just go nuts on each other, right? For some reason, me and Ursula love it. But and Ursula always calls me out on this. What I'll
it,
do is I'll say, why is she getting upset? She clearly did that. And she's like, honey, they're like 20 something year old. You're 42. You look at it differently. That's what I'm saying with you. You're
yeah.
looking at it differently.
Yeah, you're right. I am.
Yeah.
There's what's considered entertainment. I mean, but you and I grew up. I mean, on the Real World. We were in high school when that show came out. Like
Right.
reality TV was created for us. Like that, we were the target audience.
You're right.
And I remember. I mean, even watching the Real World, and like the first one where there was like one guy got kicked out of the house
Puck.
because
God, I remember that. How loser am I for that? Yes, you're right.
was it Puck?
It was Puck. Because he kept making
Was it?
fun of Pedro, the gay guy with AIDS. You know that?
Oh yeah, there was that, but I thought there was another guy that got kicked out before that. I remember Puck.
No, it was Puck. Do you remember on that? Actually, we can swing this back to comics. Judd Winnick, is that his last
Yeah,
name?
major comic artist now. I mean, he's a major writer.
Yeah,
He has,
he was on Real World San Francisco.
yeah, that was the first
Yeah,
one I really got into.
yeah.
He actually has a book called Barry Ween, Boy Genius, that he doesn't actually write anymore. But go pick up the trades of that because they're hilarious.
Well, he did some Batman.
He did, yeah, he did. He did. He's done a. He's
Didn't he?
got a good body
He's
for
the
it.
one that wrote the story about the Red Hood.
That was him.
Yeah, that was him.
Okay,
Yeah, I know you're not a Red Hood fan.
I'm not. Well, I'm not a Jason Todd fan. Everybody kind of went nuts on him coming back, and I'm like, we voted him off the island to go back to a reality TV.
We voted him.
We did, like in the 80s. We're like, oh, go ahead and kill him. But anyway, what I was getting at was, what was I getting
I don't
just,
know.
Just the idea that entertainment has changed. So you're like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
what my daughter is watching for entertainment on her phone, I don't understand watching somebody put makeup on as the entertainment because she's not doing it as a how-to. It's not I want to learn how to do this. I'm just going to watch this person put makeup on.
Do you think it has a lot to do with how confident you're doing it? Like if you and I did this podcast
Sure.
in blue steel mode the whole time.
Yeah. Do it like you own the place. I mean, yeah, there's certainly some aspect to that, I think.
Yeah.
At the same time, like what I watch for entertainment now, my kids look at me like I'm nuts because I'll watch Critical Role, which is a bunch of nerds playing D&D on camera, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're looking at me like, why is this fun? I'm like, because it's immersive, and these are like professional voice actors who are like really really good at it. So, and that's
Yeah, you do have some. I'm not going to say they're strange because they're not. It's not strange. I'm always impressed with the things that you're interested in.
I am a little left of center, given our kind of regional location, and being just your, I'm a middle aged white guy. I mean, there's a lot that I should be doing that I don't. But, but
Like
yeah, I mean,
what? Like what?
like just kind of like the sports knowledge, or
Oh,
like I'm not getting into golf, and I never will. I mean, it's just kind of different pieces. But I'm like, oh, there's an Asian film fest where it's all subtitles. Yeah, I'm down with that. I mean, there's just I wear a kilt in the summer because it's comfy and I love it, and I want to go to the Highland Games and I want to do,
hey!
this
The
kind of
Highland
stuff.
Games. The Highland Games are cool. I make fun of
Those,
you. I make
yeah,
fun of you because you wear a skirt, and but that's just me.
but
That's like I look at you as my brother, so I'm ribbing you, right?
oh, I get it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Like
But
when I first started wearing a kilt, my niece looked at me, and she's in her 20s. She didn't get it like at all. She's like, "What is happening?" And then she went to my mom. She's like, "Why does Uncle Greg wear that? Does he think it's okay? Because I don't know if it's okay." And she was like seriously like freaking out about it. And I'm like, first off, why do you give a shit? Who cares?
yeah.
I mean, there's people that I see it because I wear it to church. I mean, I'll put on my black kilt, throw on a polo, wear it to church,
No
and
shit. You wear that to
absolutely,
church?
absolutely, I do. And most people
Nice.
think it's great. I mean, and from honestly from a church perspective, if you're a new person coming into a church and you're not a church person, like you don't want to be in that environment. And our church is held in a gymnasium. I mean, it's not like a old cathedral or anything like that. But if that's what your thought of church is, and then you come in and you see a guy looking like this, wearing a kilt, you're like, this is different. So then they might stick around a little bit more. They might think of it a little bit differently. So that's not part of the reason I do it
So
for me,
you're
but I
saying
think
you
like,
guys. So okay, I can just picture this now. So there's like a couple that walks in, and the wife goes, "What do you think?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know, but that dude's wearing a skirt. I want to see what happens next."
yeah. And actually, I've I've honestly I've had people that it was their first time there, and they come up to me. They're like, "You're wearing a kilt." I said, "Yeah, yeah." They're like, "Do you do that a lot?" I said, "As often as I can." Well, what got you? And we start having this conversation, and now they have a connection. They have a connection to me. They have a connection kind of to the church. And because then I turn the conversation back to them. Where are you from? Is this your first time here? What did you like? What did you didn't like? I mean, stuff like that. I mean, I've taken them up and, hey, here's our pastor. You want to meet him? And I just kind of hand them off. And
That is a great point. What did get you into that? It's a good question.
I always kind of wanted one again because I'm
Why?
just a little off because I'm a little off, and it always looked comfortable to me,
Okay.
and I always get the question of what are you wearing underneath it, and I say in the Me Too culture, can you ask a woman what she's wearing underneath her skirt?
Oh,
And the answer was no.
oh, we gotta
But
hang on. Remind me to go back to the Me Too culture because there's something that I want to talk to you about with that. Go ahead.
so it's a conversation starter, and God knows I love to talk to people. Um, so I always thought it was interesting. So I was looking at kilts when I was late teens, early 20s, and like the full on Scottish wrap around, bring over the top kind of stuff. And I was looking at for like Renaissance fair kind of stuff because I love going there.
Yeah.
Um, and then like the utility kilt thing happened, where you could get these kind of everyday kilts, and they got cargo pockets, and you see guys working construction with them, and you see guys going hiking with them, and I'm like, that's probably comfortable.
I don't
So,
see that at all.
well, you're not looking in the right spots. Follow
Well,
my
well,
Instagram.
no. In all honesty, where have you seen other people? You're the only person I know that does it.
Mhm. I know a guy. He married a woman I went to high school with. His name's Joe, and Joe. The first time I think I really did see someone that I could talk to about it was at my 10-year class reunion. And here's Joe, and he's wearing a utility kilt, and I'm like, can we talk about that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, how much did it cost? Is it tough? He's like, no, it's. I said, is it tough to get into? Because I'm thinking like the wraparound kind of thing. He's like, no, it's got snaps and I'm like,
No,
okay,
dude.
yeah, sure. And I'm like, well, do you wear it often? He goes, I wear it all the time. I said, is it comfortable? He goes, it's unbelievably comfortable. So I just started looking at it, and a Utilikilt, like a brand name Utilikilt, they're based out of Seattle. They were out of my price range. And so I was
Greg's
like,
looking
okay,
for a sponsorship, guys, so sponsor him.
just send me one. I'll wear it on the show. Um, but then I found a different company that was more in my price range, Damn Near Kilton. You find them at damnnearkilton.com. And started just kind of looking at it. And then finally just, because I was a little nervous about it, but then I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to pull the trigger and see what it does. And the first time I wore it was at Ren Fair, where it was a little more socially acceptable. And I'm like, this is awesome. So then I just
Okay.
started wearing it out. Started wearing it out more. It does get some glances, get some looks. I wore it to a festival called Cheese Days here in Wisconsin, in Monroe, Wisconsin, and that was one of the first times I wore it out. And what I get comments all the time. I walked by a group and they were drinking. They were well into their cups, I would say. And one guy's like, "The dude's wearing a fucking kilt." And I turn around and they're like in awe. They're like, "That's awesome. Where do you get it?" And I'm like, well, here's where I got it. And it drove my kids nuts. First time they saw it, my oldest daughter was like, "No, why?" She hated it.
Yeah.
No, she,
Oh yeah. Now you're just dad
yeah,
doing that. Yeah. Hey, going back to the Me Too thing.
yeah. What's up with that?
There was a post. I don't know if you know the or there was a controversy. There is a who's the girl? I ever see the show Modern Family?
Yeah.
Okay, the older daughter. I think her name is Sarah Hyland.
Okay. Yeah.
Might get that wrong. Might get that not. I don't know. Anyway, there's a controversy about what she Instagrammed. I think they
Okay.
were now. I could get this wrong. I'm sorry for not having all my facts straight, but I think she was at some sort of a charity auction where it was about like breast awareness or
Okay.
breast cancer awareness.
Uh-huh.
And she took a picture with her and her friends, and her boyfriends, the boyfriends of these girls, are all grabbing their
Oh.
girlfriend breasts.
Okay.
Okay, the Me Too movement jumped all over that. That was just horribly wrong, and that she
Mm-hmm.
needs to apologize. Where do you fall on that?
Uh,
Just say it, Greg. Don't be afraid of offending. I think you
well,
fall where
no,
I
I,
fall.
I think it's kind of like where my views on feminism are. Is that
What are your
it's
views
all
on
about
feminism?
choice.
Okay.
I'm all up for. I mean, I think equal pay for the same job is great. I think women should be harassed no matter what they're wearing. I think there's
Wait, Greg, it came across saying that I think this came across that women should be harassed.
should not
Okay.
be harassed for
All
what
right.
they are wearing.
I agree.
Um, but that's a lot of choice. It was Sarah's choice to have that picture taken. She allowed it to happen.
She put it on
She
her Instagram.
she promoted it herself.
Right.
Now, if it was a picture where she was obviously taken by surprise and shocked, and then some other media outlet or the boyfriend put it on his Instagram or without her permission, um, then that's bad. I think that's inexcusable.
Right. Latest
But
Instagram post prompts Me Too backlash. Sarah Hyland. Yeah. So this is it. Yeah. So she did So I'll share my screen in a second so you can see the post I'm actually talking about. Okay, here it is. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, here it
I
is.
think a lot of this comes down to people being upset that it might be perpetuating that chauvinistic culture. Yeah, see, obviously everybody there is in on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
and
not bad.
I don't know who that woman is in the red on the opposite side of Sarah. Um, but maybe she wasn't down with that. So she told her man, don't, and he didn't.
Yeah, I just think that there are people that are going to push the envelope. Like I remember, like God, I don't want to step on myself here, but there's a common sense law, right? There's this common sense. Like I think people that are upset at that picture that we showed, I think you're looking to be upset at anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how
Well,
I feel.
right. They're upset, like I said, perpetuating the culture of objectifying women.
Right.
Now I look at that picture and I don't see that.
I don't see it either.
Um, when what I get more upset with, and I think everybody would, is like if you have someone with their cell phone and they're videotaping someone taking like an upskirt shot. So, do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
I understand.
here's a guy kind of doing that whole thing with his phone, trying to
You're
look
being
up
a
somebody's
pervert.
skirt.
You're being an
Yeah,
ass. Yeah.
like one guy's being a perv, and then there's somebody videotaping that without actually saying anything, and I'm
Mm.
like, that's wrong. I mean, if all you're doing is videotaping and that's it, or maybe that's wrong. If you have to videotape it for the evidence, and then get up and beat somebody's ass,
Yeah.
because
I don't know if you
that's
need to beat their ass, but you need to call them out for sure.
you got to call them out. I mean, you got to do
For
something. I
sure.
mean, it's there are things. I mean, we see videos of like people just on the subway getting harassed and like treated like crap, and whether it's the Me Too movement or it's a racist comment or whatever it is, and you're like, really? So I'm a big believer in social justice, and like something should happen. I'm sorry, some people need to get smacked in the moment. Like the
Yeah.
moment that they are being an ass, someone needs to go up to them and be like, "You're an asshole," and smack it. There's a story at my kid's school where one kid is making fun of another student, and that student has Down syndrome. So this kid who's normal, he's picking on this student with a disability.
Hmm.
And my daughter's like, it's terrible. I'm like, is anybody saying anything to this kid? And he's like, and she said eventually now they are. They're like, they don't put up with it. But this kid has been doing it since middle school. And I said, next time he does that, get up and smack him. Like haul off and smack him. And this is
Mm.
my daughter.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a boy. She's like, I don't think I should do that. I'm like, you should. Because then a couple of things are going to happen. He's going to get smacked and he's going to know that what he's doing is wrong. If he comes back at you, that's going to be he's just digging himself a deeper hole for going after a girl. I said, and if it gets really bad, then he's going to be in even bigger trouble. I said, all because he is being an asshat. So that's just me. And like,
That's
you
that's
see, did you see the Boss Karen video that came out? I think this week or last week.
Boss Karen.
Do you know what I say when I say a Karen? Do you know what that is?
No, I know. I'm lost.
A Karen is usually a middle-aged woman with a certain style haircut, and she's just outing somebody like it's just being a pain in the ass. Like, I want to speak to your manager, kind of woman. Um, and
Wait, wait,
there
wait,
was
wait, wait, wait. Go back for a second. So there's a stereotype of this certain girl, and that stereotype is called a Karen.
called a Karen, yeah.
A Karen. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So there was one this the way I saw this said this is the boss Karen that you meet after you beat the other levels of Karens, and she
Okay.
was looking in someone's car, and she's like, I need you to stop being a bitch right now, and like trying to shut this woman down. And I don't know the entire situation, but I'm like, that woman is way off her rocker.
All
Something
right.
should happen. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, a Karen, an indigenous in the Thailand-Burma border region. No, that's not what you're talking about. That's
I
not
don't
a
think so.
Karen.
Karen.
Yeah, Karen, Urban Dictionary. Mother of three, blonde, owns a Volvo, annoying as hell, wears acrylics 24/7, currently at your workplace speaking to your manager. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea there was such a name as a Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've seen them. You've seen them in the wild. You're in suburban Chicago. I guarantee
Yeah.
you've seen them.
Yeah.
Schaumburg is very full of Karens. I will say that. But they just go off like they're not being treated well enough, or you know, you got my order wrong. You need to fix it right now. I need to see your manager kind of.
Oh, she's a victim.
Yeah, like playing the total victim.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay. That to take Peter Griffith's saying, that grinds my gears. People that act like victims, that really pisses me off, actually. Not that I haven't done that once or twice in my life, but I've grown up enough now to where I realize you were an ass when you were acting like it was poor you.
Have you ever do you see the pictures of people in like fast food restaurants? They hop up on the counter and they're screaming at the top of their lungs.
That's a Karen?
Well, no, that's not a Karen. That's just somebody looking for that type of attention. And I just go, I just want to grab your foot and make you drop off of that counter because you're.
You know what it probably is, Greg. You know what those probably people are? Those are the people that get shit on by their boss or get shit on by their life, right? Or they're at home and they're getting like shit on by their husband or their wife, and this is the one moment they can stand up for themselves. And they stand up. When they stand up, they don't just stand up and say, "No, could I please have that?" They make it it's like everything boiling to the top. You think I'm wrong?
Not even seeing the people that I'm thinking of. Yeah. I'm not saying that you're wrong and that there are people like that, and sure, that's probably it. I'm thinking like the guy who. Do you remember when Rick and Morty did the Szechuan sauce episode?
Yeah, absolutely.
So people went into McDonald's and said, "I want Szechuan sauce," and they said, "We don't have it." And like one guy freaked out.
Lost his mind. I think I've seen that video.
Well, yeah, and he's jumping on the counter, he's spinning around on the floor, and I'm like, I want to just curb stomp you right now. You are an idiot. I mean, just that attention getting, like, because he knows he's going to make this big scene, and it's all about the Szechuan sauce. So all the Rick and Morty fans are going to see him, all for the hope that he gets noticed.
And so it goes back to our conversation about likes.
Yeah, it goes back to that. And I'm like, I just want to punch you.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I'm just thinking right now of how I can explain that to my daughter. Just, you know what I mean? As she grows up and she starts looking at that. So,
well, and my fear is, and especially now that my kids are getting old enough that they're going places without me, like here's the group of friends and they're going to go with friends, so it's a group of young people going out.
Yeah,
my fear is that they're going to get caught up in some of that, and some of these guys, I mean, they're grabbing the other people there and screaming in their face and everything else, and I'm like, no, I think that there's enough reactionary person in me, and I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah.
But I know myself that if I'm standing next to my daughter and somebody's having one of those freakouts and I'm thinking this guy's an idiot, and then he starts grabbing and shaking one of my kids, I'm swinging at it.
Oh, yeah, of course. If somebody touches your child out of no reason whatsoever or just to make a spectacle of this situation, yeah, he's probably going to get dropped. Like that one guy that was yelling at another guy about in the bagel shop. You saw that, right?
Yeah. And he's doing it again.
Yeah.
My grandfather, who was a police officer for decades, he and I were just talking one day, and this is when I was in my 20s, and he's like, we've kind of fallen away from people just need to get hit. I mean, like that's how you settle some.
No, it's funny you said that.
That's how people got put back in line. Is that if they're getting so far out of the way? Because now, like I had the opportunity to get into like some fights in high school and whatnot, and I didn't because my dad had said, "Look, you're a big guy. My dad taught me how to throw a punch." So the idea that if I ever did, you could injure somebody. It's not just like, oh, you're going to do this, but he's like, if things that you get into fights for, or someone disrespects your mother, someone disrespects your girlfriend or your lady. I mean, there are good reasons for you to throw down, even if you think you might not win. There's just honor-based systems that we've lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I think that's a really good point. I think it's a really good point. I agree. I think, we're taking away the things that put people in check.
Yeah.
And we're creating safe spaces so they're allowed to do that shit and they're allowed to act like a fool. And so I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
With that. So I think we'll end it there, man.
What are you at?
We're at an hour 17.
All right, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So we decided to put this. A lot of people tend to like this at Topic Thunder, so we're gonna end this pretty much at everything we do. We're gonna do a fact of the day, and so I will go and hit the random fact. Wow, this falls into right exactly what we were kind of talking about, or maybe not. Alice Walton, heir to the Walmart fortune and one of the richest people in the world, has had a history of reckless collisions. Her latest DWI arrest was expunged after the Texas trooper who arrested her was mysteriously suspended, and the statute of limitations was allowed to expire. By the way, or I shouldn't say by the way, and Epstein didn't kill himself.
And Epstein didn't hang himself.
Yes.
Okay, so she's buying her way out of DWIs. See, that's just got issues with it.
That's another pet peeve I think you and I both share, is that just because you make money doesn't mean you are above anybody else.
No, not at all. I mean, and I live in Wisconsin. There are people driving around with 9 DWIs and they still haven't gone to prison. But I mean, if you're constantly, you're a public menace. You're a risk.
Yeah. Yeah. She's smiling here. She's smiling here, but she looks like a bitch.
And you can afford a driver. So that's the other. Get somebody else to take you around.
Thank you. That's something that Ursula and I were talking about the other day, because she was going to a party at night, and I said, "Look, if you even think you're getting too tipsy or you even feel it," I said, "just Uber. Like, I'll just get the car the next day. Like, there's no excuse anymore to be drunk driving anymore. There's no excuse. The only reason you're doing it is because of your ego. Because Uber has made it super easy.
Yeah.
To get out of that situation.
Well, and even I live in a pretty rural area now, and like Uber and Lyft are not out here. There's probably somebody would come pick you up. Maybe I actually haven't checked out here, but I know enough.
I'm sure.
Well, there's always been the cops. I mean, if you
you're right.
If you call the cops, like you call dispatch, whatever, and be like, "Hey, I am too drunk to drive home. Can someone come and get me?" They will come and get you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always safe driver programs. They've got people do that.
Yeah. I agree. She looks like a Karen.
Really? She got the haircut?
I don't know. It's pulled back, but she looks like she's that type where she gets pulled over, and I'm sure she goes, "Excuse me, do you know who I am?" She seems like she's totally that girl.
Yeah, you go search for Karen videos and then just cringe your way through an hour of. Ugh.
All right, I don't know if I'll go an hour, but I'll give it a good 8 minutes.
Yeah, a good 10 minutes. Yeah.
All right, Greg. Hey, man, thank you very much. I think we'll end it there. Like I said, fact of the day is over. Greg, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your week. Yeah. Or weekend. Right, this is coming out on Thursdays, so enjoy your weekend, people.
Yes.
And we'll see you for Topic Thunder, and then for a Johnny and TheGreg podcast coming soon. Take care, buddy. You have a good day. Thank you, everybody, for listening.